I'm currently at a point in my life where I am developing a muscle in the area of courage. Say what you mean and mean what you say. God gives us downloads. Hey y'all, it's Talk About It Tuesday. And this week's downloads, we are talking about the importance of I am still unpacking what the Lord said to me a couple weeks back. And what he said is that I'm focused on what was instead of what is. And as time has gone by, I've been just really paying attention. I've been really seeking the Lord on it. I've been really just unpacking my thoughts and unpacking what the Lord meant and looking at my life to see where this is and where I am stuck and where my mind is stuck in what was and not embracing the now and not embracing what is. The Lord has been doing a lot of speaking to me, and a lot of it is just about now, the present, embracing now faith. It's about in the moment, in this time. And just saying that, I know that in the past I've had struggles with time. And Lord, when is this going to happen? Lord, when are we going to step into this place? Lord, when is breakthrough coming? Like, when are we going to get this house? When are we going to get these finances, Lord? When do you want me to start this business? When is this business going to flourish? It was always about time. How long is this going to take? Um, because there were obstacles and circumstances in front of me. And so there was an urgency for me. But the Lord knew that I was in a place of just his training grounds. And there wasn't an urgency for him. In fact, the Lord told me one year to slow down because I was so in a rush. I was moving because naturally I am a mover. That is who God has created me to be. He's created me to be a mover, and I'm embracing that. However, he's been teaching me how to move. He's been teaching me his flow and his rhythm. He's been teaching me the pace of grace. God wants us to be diligent, but he doesn't want us to strive. And I'm continuously learning that more and more as I walk out the call in which God has called me, as I am stepping into the call, as I am learning while stepping into it. And so going back to what I initially said, sometimes I can get into a place where I'm moving too fast and I'm looking into the future, and I'm looking into the future, perceiving it to be something that I've already seen before. And so that is a part of me focusing on what was, because the old me was a certain kind of way. And I built up that old me to be a certain kind of way because of trauma, because of different things that has happened in my life. I built myself up. I notice I said I wasn't allowing the Lord to build myself up. I was building myself up to be this person that I seen in my head. And so I always say that it is so great for us to learn, but it is so challenging to unlearn. It is so challenging to unlearn all of the things, undo all of the things that that's already been embedded in you, that has been done multiple times, time after time after time after time. And so in undoing those things, you have to continue to keep reminding yourself, continue to be consistent in the new things, continue to be consistent in the new mindset, continue to be consistent in the new words that you speak, continue to be consistent in the word. Um, and so I was really focused on what was, and I'm still unpacking how I was so focused on these things. I'm still unpacking all that I was focused on as well. But sometimes I can be so future minded that I can't even embrace the present because I'm trying to rush to get to the future in order to get back to how things were um, when things felt light. But I have to realize that that is a trick of the enemy. I have to realize that that is a distraction because I never want to go back to the old me. And I know that. But somehow subconsciously, my thinking needs to come into alignment with that. Somewhere in the back of my mind is stored that those things that has been embedded, those behaviors, the ways of thinking. They try to creep back. They try to come up and speak when things happen or when triggers come about. And so I have just been slowing down. I had to take some time to just rest. The Lord called me into rest because I was beginning to be confused. I was beginning to be heavy. I was beginning to be weary. And the Lord knew that. And He came and got me. And the Lord is so, 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 so good. Because the word says, "Come to me, all those who are weary and heavy laden." And don't quote me word for word. I don't have the Bible in front of me. But the Lord came and got me. And He said, "Daughter, come to me because you are heavy. You're weary. Let me give you rest. Come and receive my rest." And so that's exactly what I did. I received His rest. And sometimes it's very hard to put everything down to receive His rest. Why? Because I have been a person that had to control everything. And if I didn't do it, it wouldn't get done. If I don't do it, then I'm a failure. If I don't approach this situation in this certain way, then things won't be done in the right way. And so that's the mind frame and the mindset, one of them that I developed in the was. And so with that being said, sometimes it's hard to just let everything go and just lay down and rest. And it's not really just physically laying down, but just sitting at God's feet and saying, "All right, Lord," just taking that deep inhale and exhale and just being still and just listening, giving up all of the stress, all of the worries, all of the overthinking, all of the what did the Lord bring to my attention the other day? What is it called? Uh, Hoarding in your thoughts. All of these thoughts that have been hoarded. There's so many things hoarded in my thoughts at times, and it's just a lot of overthinking and analysis and paralysis and uh, just a lot. And so I had to slow down. And initially, I took it as, a Lord, we have to stop again. Like, you just gave me these things to do. This got to get done. This has to get done. I feel like I've been dragging my feet already, and I really need to get these things done. But what I have to continue to realize is that God does not work on time, the time of people. The Lord created time. He works outside of time. I have to realize what was not done in my life for 30 plus years, God did in 1 year. I have to realize that He is a big God. Like, He knows all things. I have to understand. That's why it says, "Be still and know." One of the translations go on to say, "Recognize and understand that I am God." And so, with that being said, I really just had to let it go and just say, I was just at a point where I'm like, you know what, Lord, I am just putting it down. I don't care what happens. I believe that you're telling me to rest. And so I have to look at it this way. And actually, this came to me this morning is when your boss tells you to take a couple of days off. You don't need to be afraid that you're going to get fired because you have permission to take those days off. And you know when you get back to work that everything's going to be okay. Your boss will be there and you can just pick up where you left off. It's the same way when the Lord tells you to put things down and rest because you need to get something that He knows that you need, that obviously you may not know that you need. You may feel it. I was in a place where I told my husband, like, I've been in this place where I feel like I need comfort. And I was like going to like the heating pad because I love heat. Heat comforts me. I was going to the heating pad. I have a massager under my desk. I was putting my feet in there and I wanted a massage and, um, turning the heat on in my car, uh, eating sweets because that's a comfort food for me and just eating things that I like. And I was realizing, I said, something's going on with me because I really am in a place where I feel like I need comfort. And I was looking for that comfort outside, even though I was still talking to the Lord, even though I was still praying, praising, and worshiping. I didn't have my full focus on the Lord. And at times of the day, my focus is on Him, but I need to keep my focus stayed on Him because that's what I need, especially in the season that I'm in right now. And so, with that being said, I laid everything down and I just rest. And even on the day that I made the decision to rest, the Lord sent someone my way. He sent someone my way without me having to do anything. Someone contacted me. They said, "Hey, you're on my mind." They were checking in on me. And then I was able to receive something from this individual that I actually needed, and the Lord knew that I needed. I don't know what it's going to lead to, but I do know that it was God sent. And so I know that it's something that I need and something that I want because He sent it. But it was just the fact that that day that I chose to just let everything down, because I could have chose to just keep working and say, "Okay, Lord, I'm going to take a break in a week." But I don't want it to be forced. I don't want something to happen for God to say, "Look, I said sit down." And so with that being said, I made the decision to do that. And in making that decision on that same day, literally, God didn't waste no time. He sent someone my way. He sent a laborer my way. And even in that, I'm just like, Lord, I didn't have to do anything for you to make this happen for me. And so He constantly proves to me that I'm walking with Him. And when you're walking with Him and you're believing God for what He said, because when God says something, it's a promise. He says what He means and He means what He says. And that's why so many promises in the word, because He says what He means and He means what He says. And so you can bank on it. Like you can put your life on it because His word is His word and He's not going to allow His word not to manifest on this earth. It's going to happen one way or another. And so I have to continue to remind myself over and over and over again, even though I know it is embedded. I know that I know that I know that I know. But that's why the word says you have to renew your mind. You have to renew your mind. It's not just renew it one time. It says by the renewing of your mind. It has to continue to be renewed, your mind, because your mind can get off track very easily, very quickly if you are distracted. And so, with that being said, I'm just continuing to unpack the revelation that the Lord gave me about balance, about focusing on what was. And I really just been paying attention on embracing the now, embracing me being a stay-at-home mom right now. I haven't always felt comfortable with that because I was in a place where I felt independent. I was in a place where I had to be independent. I was in a place where there were so many things that had happened negatively coming up as a child that I took up. I did what I felt I needed to do to be okay. And so there were so many times where I had to do things for myself and for even for my family. And it's like I was raised by a single mom and I seen her doing everything by herself. And it's like I created this mentality that I have to get it done. I have to do it. Me. This is what, if I don't do it, it doesn't get done. And God is really just undoing and undoing. And even as I walk in my day to day, He's teaching me how to not be in control. He's teaching me how to let go. He's teaching me how to walk firmly, rooted and grounded, but also being flexible and open. He's teaching me how to walk with His rhythm. He's teaching me His pace of grace. I just actually purchased this book called The Rhythms of Rest. And I've been, talking to the Lord for a while now about His rhythm and the rhythm of His revelation and just um, patterns and so many different things. And so I want to continue to just dig into that and really just focus on where God has me now. Embrace it. Embrace being a stay-at-home mom. Uh, I wasn't always comfortable with that because being a stay-at-home mom means that, in my mind, it means that I'm not working. And that means I'm going to have to depend on somebody. Because you got to pay the bills, right? You got to have necessities. The kids have to be taken care of. Everything has to be taken care of. And so with my upbringing, I had a single mom. She did it all. That went against what I seen and all that I knew for a long period of time of my life. And so even now, I still have a hard time embracing it because of the old me. It's a constant battle of the old me and the new me sometimes. And I'm just fighting the good fight of faith. Every day I have to encourage myself in the Lord. I have to get up and tell myself, yeah, you can because the God is. I am, Lord. I am. um I am who the great I am says that I am. I have to continue to speak those words of affirmation and to pray and worship and praise so that I am in the right space mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. And even if my emotions deceive me, I still can walk because I still can walk forward and be on the right track and on the right path because I'm not allowing my feelings to control me. Even just being a stay-at-home mom has been difficult to embrace. And it's something that I wanted when I didn't want it before having kids, but when I had my first son, it's something that I desired because I was working a lot. My husband was working a lot, and I seen where things were going without, where things were lacking, where things were not getting done, and the things that had lacked within my son. And so I had to make the decision to quit my job. And that was a whole total life transformation and a whole story that I probably will talk about on this podcast someday. But that was a huge decision that I had to make with being a mom. And it was hard because the income left. I was no longer in control. But it was also around that time where I gave my life fully to the Lord. I always knew the Lord. I was saved at a young age. I love Jesus. Jesus has been my Lord and Savior since I was um, younger. However, I wasn't walking with the Lord. I wasn't living I wasn't living right. I wasn't fully just dedicated to the Lord. And so when I dedicated my life to the Lord, is when things started to change and transform and transition. So it was the best place to be, in a place of trouble, because God is a present help in trouble. But like I said, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But just this whole stay at home mom thing is something that I haven't embraced. It has been 3 years, almost going on 4 years now. And it's something that I haven't fully still embraced. It's something that I walk around and deal with and do, but I haven't embraced it. I love my kids, and I'm blessed to be home with my kids. I'm blessed to be able to teach them what I want them to know, and to be present and involved and spend time with them and pour into them. But sometimes I wish that I had both. I wish I could do both, but you can't. You're only one person. And I'm not going to say you can't. There's many moms out here who work and still do the necessary things for their kids. Um, However, I'm able to do what I want to do for my children, my family, my household, because I have more time on my hands to take the time to do those things. However, um, I was looking at being a stay at home mom. I was perceiving that in a negative way. And it also made my mind miss out on actually what was in front of me, because I still create content. I still have been in real estate, and I am part owner in my husband's business. So yes, I'm a stay at home mom, but I'm also doing other things. Yes, it gets busy, but I haven't embraced this stay at home mom thing. I've just been thinking about, I got to get back. I got to get back. And that's what I mean by thinking about the future so much and being in a rush because of your present circumstances. But you're still in the what was, because it's, I have to get back. I have to get back, if that makes sense. And so I am learning. I'm just being transparent, and I'm just unpacking, and I hope this helps someone, but I am learning to really just embrace the now in all things. Be okay with where I am, be okay with my progress, be okay with the things I still need to work on, be okay with this place in this place of the journey that I am in. And just be okay with overall, because as I am walking in the new, and some things will come with me from the old, and that's okay. I've had a mindset where if things are new, everything has to be wiped clean and the slate has to be clear and we have to start over. But God is teaching me, no, you are walking in the new every day. You have not experienced yesterday yet. I mean, you have not experienced tomorrow yet. So every day you're walking in the new. And so you're walking in the new with what you have. One of the things that I put on my planner every week, on the top of my planner, to remind me of something that the Lord said, is go with what you know and make adjustments as the Lord speaks. We have to go with what we know. There's so many different things we've learned. There's gifts that God has placed in us. There are skills that we've learned, so much that we know, so much wisdom and knowledge and revelation and understanding that we were able to receive directly from the Lord. And those things need to be carried into the new. We don't have to wipe the slate clean. We don't have to wait until we are in a good place to get saved. We don't have to wait until we get our life together to go to church. We don't have to wait until we lose weight to eat better. Like, you have to do it now. In order for you to grow, in order for you to see progress, in order for you to be successful, you have to walk in it now. You have to walk in what is now. You have to accept what is. You have to let go of what was. And you have to continue to choose to step into what is, what will be. So I am embracing me. I'm learning that I like to, I'm learning that I was compartmentalizing things. Like being, doing, going, right? Sometimes I would be and not do. Sometimes I would do and not be. But the Lord is saying, I need you to be, do, and go. I need you to do as you. I need you to go as you. And as you're being, I need you to do. As you're being, I need you to go and do. And so I hope that makes sense. I will talk about being, doing, and going on this podcast as well, as you guys see that Mama Move is really all about helping mothers move mentally so that they can move physically. It's helping mothers to um, remove barriers in their minds so that they can be, do, and go. Be who God has formed and created them to be. Do what God has called them to do, and go where God has planned for them to go. If we're not moving in our minds, we're not going to move in our bodies. Our bodies do what our brains tells it to do. And so that's what Mama Move is all about. And so as I am moving, I am sharing my movement. I am sharing my journey. I am sharing even my times of being stuck. I am sharing it all. Why? Because I need to be doing go as well as you all need to be doing go. We have callings. We have purpose on this earth. And if we are not moving in our mind and we're stuck, then how are we able to be who God has created us to be fully? How are we able to do what God has called us to do fully? And how are we able to go where God has planned for us to go fully? And so I hope this helps someone, you guys. That's all I got for this episode. This is just an episode of me just continuing to unpack what the Lord had said, to unpack some of the information and revelation that I have received from the Lord, and just being, doing, and going and resting. And maybe the next episode will be a part 3, but this is part 2 of unpacking God's revelation. I love you with the love of the Lord, and I hope you have a beautiful, blessed, and prosperous day.